America's looming brain drain. What has to happen for a person to wake up from boomers to zoomers? Yes, everyone is involved in this problem. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies." His words still ring true today. As the current fiat system continues to erode and the dollar collapses, banks are failing and countries are leaving the dollar network, and it's time to question the status quo. The boomer generation, one of the wealthiest in history at the same age as the current millennial generation, had amassed 20% of the nation's wealth. This millennial generation, here now, currently owns 4% of the nation's wealth, a measly 4%, leaving a massive disparity in income for the younger generation. It's a problem that needs to be addressed, and the transfer of wealth to the younger generation is a start. Where do we think that's going to go? Where do you think that money is going to go? Is it going to go to gold? Is it going to go to homes? Homes that people can't even afford? As the younger generation inherits stocks and real estate and other investments, we could see a significant increase in demand for Bitcoin. The potential for profits here is immense, but there's one big catch: the government. If the American government continues to be hostile towards Bitcoin and other emerging technologies, we could see a brain drain of talent, something I've been worried about for years, 3 or 4 years, and it really sped up during COVID and the switching of the presidency to the Biden regime. This brain drain of talent and wealth leaving the country is similar to what happened in Detroit, somewhere that I'm familiar with, growing up an hour north of Detroit. This is a dangerous, dangerous outcome that we cannot afford. I cannot. If anyone has been to Detroit, and I'm talking about the city of Detroit, the suburbs, great. The suburbs are great, where people fled to, and that was just a flight outside the city. But if you've been to the city part, the city proper, boy, oh boy, still to this day, decades later, you are in for a rude awakening. The downtown area is nice. There's a ring right outside that is still awful. And then there's the suburbs, which are good again. But this has taken decades to fix and correct and start getting back. But still nowhere near the booming city it was in the 50s and 60s and 70s, when it was the biggest city in the world. And you had the biggest companies in the world here. This is a dangerous, dangerous outcome we cannot afford, as it could also lead to a loss of tax revenue and a decline in our standard of living, which is the most important part, the standard of living, because your wealth is goods and services. If you are on a desert island with nothing there, but you had $1 trillion, what would it matter? How wealthy are you at that point? Your wealth is your goods and services and your time. We talk about this all the time. This is why it's so important. We talk about the basics all the time. It's so important to understand this. Most people were never taught any of this, so nothing makes sense to them in this fiat system. We have broken brain disease, BBD. When you understand your wealth is your goods and services, and when you have a bunch of people competing businesses for those services, that's what drives prices down and the standard of living goes up. And consumers benefit because the producers are producing, have to get better and better and better, and or drive their costs down to compete and stay in business, meaning wealth in society. Now you have better products. Now you have better services. That's your wealth, goods and services. But if you have nothing, if there's zero of that, if everyone leaves your city, or everyone leaves your state, or God forbid, everyone leaves your country because of stupid moronic policies, moronic fiscal policies, moronic social policies, driving people from your country, eventually from your earth. Elon's going to Mars, guys. This is the problem. This is the problem we face. Every single person faces. Just ask countries all over the world that lose people all the time to America for decades. Just wait and see. This is a problem that's just really begun, and it can speed up very quickly if we don't get this right. The notion that you hope your kids are better off than you is quickly slipping into the abyss. Detroit serves as a prime example of what can happen when there's a brain drain. Once a thriving city is now a shell of its former self, with a declining population still to this day, and the state of Michigan, and a lack of goods and basic services. Think about that. As governments make worse decisions, the wealthy and intelligent individuals will leave, and the remaining population will be left with a lower standard of living because they don't have goods and services competing. Now, if there's only one person there or whatever, you have no options, so you're stuck with whatever they give you, and the prices are either stay stagnant or go up. They're not going down because there's no competition. What to do? To avoid this outcome, The government needs to adopt not only a more favorable stance towards Bitcoin and other emerging technologies, but a proactive approach to ensure the status and sovereignty of the country and its people. We know the other countries and stated enemies of America will get into Bitcoin as game theory plays out. Absolutely 100%. We just came out this week. Literally, I wrote this article and then I just saw Bhutan has secretly been mining Bitcoin. Russia has been talking about it. China, I'm sure, is talking. We know they banned Bitcoin mining, and then, oh, what do you know? 10 to 20% of mining still in China. I guarantee that's probably the government. They're not dumb. They play the long game. Russia's been talking about it. Now we know Bhutan, there's Central African Republic, El Salvador. This game theory is only going to speed up. So you better get on the horse or you're going to be left behind. This is the new internet. You will be left behind. We won the internet race. Are we going to lose the next one? Are we going to lose the monetary race? Are we going to lose this AI new tech race, this new internet? And Bitcoin is not crypto, and crypto is not Bitcoin. I'm not talking about crypto. Crypto is garbage. Crypto is an absolute piece of trash. It's a scam. It's affinity scams. It's people. It's the fiat system recreated. I'm talking about Bitcoin, just Bitcoin, fixing the money to fix the world. Period. That heals all the other ills. We talk about band-aids and bullet holes here. We want to get to the core issue of problems. I don't want to fix symptoms. I don't want to fix surface level problems. I want to fix the money so I can get the grimy rent seekers and grifters out of everyone's life, and people can live the way they want to compete against one another, and the best will rise to the top and give everyone a higher standard of living. At the very least, it's crucial if we want to remain competitive and attractive to talent and wealth. As Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Let us invest in our future by advocating for more supportive government and being active participants so we guarantee investing in emerging technologies like Bitcoin. Otherwise, we leave to chance the ability to seize the opportunity for potential profits and a brighter future and a higher standard of living, and keep America the bright, shining city on a hill. Stay strong. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share this out because the algorithm hates truth, as we know. This is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Please question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. I appreciate you more than you know, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.